Good evening, everyone. This is Manali Raj. Welcome to the CSA Relay Chanakya News Bulletin presented by Chanakya IAS Academy, Patna. In this segment, we demonstrate about the daily important highlights from the perspective of our civil services examination. Let us have a brief overview of today's headlines. Defense Acquisition Council approves proposal for procurement of 26 RAFALE marine aircraft. Prime Minister Modi conferred with France's highest award. Government to provide FreeDish Connections in border villages on Indo-CHINA border. Third G20 Sherpa meetings begins in Hampi, Karnataka. Chandrayaan 3 all set to launch today. Russia has become world's top wheat exporter. INS-CHINA participates in Operation Southern Readiness 2023. Today's synoptic report is about Anthropocene epoch. Moving into the details of the news, the Defense Acquisition Council approves proposal for procurement of 26 RAFALE marine aircraft from France to boost Indian Navy's operational capabilities, along with the associated ancillary equipment, weapons, simulator, spares, documentation, crew training, and logistic support for the Indian Navy from the French government based on an intergovernmental agreement. The Defense Acquisition Council also granted the acceptance of necessity for the procurement of 3 additional Scorpene submarines under the buy category, which will be constructed by the Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders Limited. The procurement of additional submarines with higher indigenous content will not only help in maintaining required force level and operational readiness of the Indian Navy, but also create significant employment opportunities in the domestic sector. It will also help the Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders Limited in further enhancing its capability and expertise in the submarine construction. In addition, the Defense Acquisition Council approved the proposal to lay down the guidelines for achieving the desired indigenous content in all categories of capital acquisition cases. It will help in achieving Atmanirbharta in critical manufacturing technologies and life cycle sustenance of defense platforms, equipment through indigenous manufacturing. Prime Minister Modi conferred with France's highest award, the Grand Cross of the Legion of the Honor. French President Emmanuel Macron bestowed the Grand Cross of the Legion of the Honor on the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. It is the highest French honor in military or civilian orders. Prime Minister Modi will become the first Indian Prime Minister to receive this honor. In the past, the Grand Cross of the Legion of Honor has been received by the select prominent leaders and eminent personalities from across the world. These include former President of South Africa Nelson Mandela, King Charles, the then Prince of Wales, former Chancellor of Germany Angela Merkel, Boutros of Ghali, and former Secretary General of the United Nations, among others. Union Information and Broadcasting Minister Shri Anurag Thakur has announced that the ministry will ensure the supply of Doordarshan DTH connections in far-flung areas in villages at Indo-China border. He has also said that the better mobile connectivity to residents of these remote villages will be ensured soon, and the government is committed to ensure all-round better connectivity to these areas. It may be recalled that to achieve the goal of reaching out to the people living in far-flung areas and border areas through the platform of DD FreeDish, the government has proposed to distribute 1.5 lakh FreeDish connections in border areas. Asserting that the government is committed to the development of border villages, the minister assured the local villagers that their demands of better digital connectivity and road connectivity, enhancing tourism infrastructure, sports infrastructure, and improved Jal Jeevan mission will also be implemented on a priority basis. Aiming to assess the reach of the various projects and schemes of the government and also gain first-hand understanding of the challenges faced by the residents in the remote border village on Indo-China border, the minister held close interaction with the local villagers and also administrative officials. The third G20 Sherpa meetings under the Indian presidency was inaugurated today at Hampi in Karnataka. In his opening remarks, the India's G20 Sherpa Amitabh Kant said that the shaping of the draft Delhi Declaration has gained momentum as several G20 working groups are submitting their outcome documents and shared summaries. He informed that the education, tourism, agriculture, and ministerial working groups have already published their outcome documents. Mr. Kant said that this will further firm up the contents of the Leaders' Declaration to be announced during the Leaders' Summit in New Delhi in September. He emphasized that the G20 Sherpas have to take bold decisions and come out with stronger action-oriented outcomes to define the welfare of a future generation. He laid emphasis on working with the final declaration based on the inputs from the G20 members will help overcome the challenges faced by the world. He informed that during the first day of the Sherpa meeting, the preamble and the conclusion of the revised draft Leaders' Declaration will be discussed. G20 countries, guest countries, and international organization members will give their inputs on the draft and will discuss it on accelerated, inclusive, and resilient growth, accelerating progress on sustainable development goals, and gender equality. All arrangements are in place for the launch of the third moon mission Chandrayaan at the second launch pad of the Satish Dhawan Space Center, Sriharikota. The success of this launch is not just important to India but also the world, as crucial information from the mission will help future space missions globally. This mission demonstrates that India is competent enough in scientific advancements. The LVM-3 rocket is just ready to undertake the mission. The 43.5 meter tall rocket LVM-3 weighing 642 ton will have 3 stages before separating. Chandrayaan-3 will travel in an elliptical path to reach the surface of the moon for 30 days. The lunar mission is divided into 3 phases: the Earth-centric phase, the lunar transfer phase, and the moon-centric phase. The lander is expected to make a soft landing and the rover will conduct experiments on the lunar surface. The life of the payload carried by the propulsion module post-ejection of the lander is between 3 and 6 months. The mission life of the lander and the rover is 1 lunar day or 14 Earth days. The mission is to study Earth from the lunar orbit and to measure the near surface and its density changes. The mission is also to carry out the measurements of thermal properties of the lunar surface near the polar region and look out for the lunar seismic activity around the landing site and delineate the structure of the lunar crust and mantle. Russia is consolidating its position as the world's top wheat exporter, even as Ukraine's shipments are projected to more than half from their peak and production plunged to a 11-year low. The US Department of Agriculture has estimated Russia's wheat exports at a record 45.5 million tons in 2022-23. Up from 33 million tons, 39.1 million ton, and 34.5 million ton in the preceding 3 market years. In this process, it has left behind the European Union, which had exported 39.8 million ton in 2019-20. The primary destinations for Russian wheat are the Middle East, North Africa, and Central Asia, led by Egypt, Iran, and Algeria. While the Black Sea Grain Initiative helped Ukraine export 16.8 million ton in 22-23, about 39% of its wheat actually moved via the land route to Eastern Europe, instead of the specially created corridors for shipping from the 3 designated ports of Odessa, Chornomorsk, and Yuzhny. Ukraine's market have shifted dramatically from Asia and North Africa before the war to mainly Europe, mostly due to ease of shipment, according to the US Department of Agriculture. Ample supplies from Russia have helped soften global wheat prices. Russian wheat is now being exported at around $235 per ton. The relatively low international prices of wheat can be a comfort factor for the countries like India. It might have to consider the option of wheat imports if the Kharif rice crop does not turn out too good due to the poor monsoon rain in major paddy growing states. INS Sunena was at Seychelles to participate in Operation Southern Readiness 2023 conducted by Combined Maritime Forces. The visit was aimed at strengthening multilateral ties and enhancing cooperation through the Combined Maritime Forces exercise, which is a multinational initiative aimed at enhancing maritime security, countering piracy to ensure safety and freedom of navigation in the region. During the visit, the personnel of participating navies from USA, Italy, UK, Seychelles, Defense Forces and Marine Police member nations of UNAVFOR were engaged in a wide range of professional interactions, subject matter expert exchanges, and visits. The ship conducted lecture and practical demonstrations on varied aspects of navigation, VBSS basic and advanced training, maritime domain awareness, and mass casualty evacuation drills. A delegation of Combined Maritime Forces from Bahrain, headed by Commander Oliver, commander of CTF 56, witnessed the training exercises on board. A combined yoga session was organized on board with participation of personnel from Seychelles Defense Forces and CMF along with the ship's crew. Our today's synoptic report is about Anthropocene epoch. The Anthropocene epoch is a proposed epoch that denotes the present geological time interval in which the Earth's ecosystem has gone through radical changes due to the human impact. In a major development that could change the Earth's official geological timeline, geologists have said sediments at Crawford Lake in Canada's Ontario have provided evidence of the beginning of the Anthropocene epoch. Members of the Anthropocene Working Group, which has been working since 2009 to make the Anthropocene part of the planet's timescale, the 35 geologists have estimated that the new epoch started sometime between 1950 and 1954. They revealed the findings after analyzing the lake's bottom sediments, which have over the years captured the fallouts of large-scale burning of fossil fuels, explosion of nuclear weapons, and dumping of plastic and fertilizers on land and in water bodies. Notably, not every geologist agrees that the Anthropocene epoch is a reality, as there are disagreements within the scientific community regarding when it began or has it already begun, or if they have enough evidence to prove its advent. The Anthropocene epoch as a term was first coined by Nobel Prize-winning chemist Paul Crutzen and biology professor Eugene Stormer 2000 to denote the present geological time interval in which the Earth's ecosystem has gone through radical changes due to human impact, especially since the onset of the Industrial Revolution. There are numerous phenomena associated with this epoch, such as global warming, sea level rise, ocean acidification, mass-scale soil erosion, the advent of deadly heat waves, deterioration of the biosphere, and other detrimental changes in the environment. That was all for today. Stay tuned to our channel for standardizing your civil services examination preparation. Thank you.